Hi guys, it's your girl Yummy.com. Thank you for joining me, internet friends. Thank you for liking, subscribing, overall vibing, and just being here. It is much appreciated. Today we are talking about a hot topic. Something that's been weighing heavy on my heart, and it is why black people hate Jay Park.
I'm about to get mean.
I just want us all to stay friends.
I know, Jay Park stands, please don't come for me. This is an analysis. This is not me saying that I hate Jay Park.
Don't mess with K-pop. Really, don't sue me. I am just an idiot who likes K-pop and eats tteokbokki, okay?
And I can't exactly pick out or stem where it comes from before I started doing the research for this video. I couldn't figure out what about him rubbed me the wrong way. It's like him and Zico, like it's like I like their songs now to an extent. They're more recent songs now to an extent, but I don't know why I don't like them personally. I don't know, something about them rubs me the wrong way.
Here's the thing. If I learned anything in my life, it's don't fuck with K-pop fans. Okay? That's all I learned. Because at first they were taken to Twitter and they were like, you know what? I'm kind of annoyed about this episode. And then they were like, you know what? Let's fucking investigate.
And I think it stems from the whole K-pop or K-hiphop movement in general. That is not to say that like all black people don't like K-pop. Like lots of black people like K-pop. And I even made a video about what it's like being a black K-pop stan, which I should probably remake because I don't know if those feelings are all still the same.
Hey, yellow monkey, go back to your country. What the fuck you just told me? Say it again, Negro.
Look, I'm black.
Pour me something cheap so I can spit it out. Hit me again.
Like I feel a little bit worse, honestly. Even the more groups I stan, the worse it gets and the worse I feel. Because like you can't really just be in your own little,
oh, I only like BTS and they've done stuff wrong, but they've said sorry and they're just really nice now and they love me now, so it's fine. Let's just stay here.
the more groups you like, the more difficult it gets. And the more versatile your timeline does. I do realize like, as a K-pop stan, I've realized, and this comes from my own small circle, there are things that a lot of us have in common. So there are biases that a lot of us have. And maybe I'll do an analysis on that later, like biases that a lot of black people have. And this comes from like, you know, the reactors that I watch, the friends that I have in K-pop, the people that I've met in concerts, who look like me. So I know that like a lot of like in BTS, a lot of black people have like rap line biases, specifically Yoongi. And
he didn't know it was a hiccup.
He didn't know you rocking with a hiccup, man.
Man, that McDonald, goddamn.
A lot of people of color in general love RM. So like Yoongi is like people color love Yoongi too, but like black people love Yoongi. Like there's something about that like Eminem rap style, dirty hip hop that brings them like that is something familiar. And I think that something that is in comments, not always, but a lot of black people like have rap line biases. A lot of people have rap line biases, obviously, but I feel like a lot of black people and people of color have rap line biases. So Yoongi, RM, even in ATs, a lot of people with my melanin skin tone that I know, this is from my sample size pool, gravitate towards Hongjoong. Or Mingi. For 17, gravitate towards like S-Coups or Vernon, and these are all very specific rap types. On the opposite side, it's not always the rap line. Sometimes it's not always the rap line. A lot of girlies that I know that are my skin color, and guys, girls, guys, and gays, everyone. Not that gays aren't girls or guys, but you get what I'm saying. Love Jackson Wang.
And be sure to tell Jackson what a big fan you are of his.
Oh,
don't lie to me right now.
That's crazy. That must have been someone else.
Come on now.
Oh my. Well, let's have a conversation.
Oh.
Or Youngjun from TXT, or Taeyang from TXT. I've seen a lot of those. A lot of people of color. It's like a similar Yoongi RM thing. It's like black girlies love Youngjun, people of color love Taeyang, which is different from me, where I vary. And that's what I'm saying. Black people are not a monolith, because my bias in TXT is Bongyu. So obviously it's not with a painted brush. Another person is Dio from EXO. I feel like a lot of black girlies love Dio.
This love, I mean it till the day I die.
He'd probably get my ass. This is our new crib set. I'll take it. I didn't know you had any kids. I don't. I can. We can get to working on it.
There's something sultry, Usher-like about his voice, like something that reminds you of the R&B that your parents used to play.
When my eyes on you, 숨막힐 듯한 전율로, you know you get me loose, make me go 비틀비틀. I dance so made for two, 다리 부르는 전율로, it's only me and you, make me go bitter.
Excuse you, sir. Will you put a baby in me?
Why the hell is he so fine?
He's sleeping outside tonight. What do you mean?
I just wanna love you here forever endlessly. So I just hope you hear me when I say don't leave.
Back. Kiho is singing, man. He is giving me some soul. He giving me some soul. Like, Kiho giving me melanin without even having any melanin. Like, what's going on, Kiho?
So, like, those are people. Those are, like, a rough list of people that I've run into that are, like, common threads in a lot of black girlies, like, biases. You know what I mean? And that's all to say that it's not that we have an issue with rappers, with K-hiphop, with any of these things. It's like there's something that is just about J Park that rubs everyone the wrong way. So I'm going to need my handy dandy notebook because I have to talk about the history of J Park, and maybe that'll help us shed some light on why we think he's garbage. Okay, this is all jokes, by the way. Like, this is all jokes. J Park stands do not come for me. I know that he is beloved in Korea. I am not, anything I say is not taking away of the influence and that he has had on hip-hop and K-pop and K-hip-hop in general, or his icon status that you have given him. I cannot take that away. This is just my feelings and the research that I've done and trying to gather why we have all just decided to dislike him as on an international level. Like, in Korea he's beloved, but outside of Korea I feel like every time you mention specific K-pop artists that black people don't like, him and Zico are always on the list. And it's like, it comes down to the issue of K-hip-hop. So let's start on the history of J Park.
I went through hell, so you do not have to.
J Park grew up in America. Strike number one.
I hate being American until a European comes for Americans, and suddenly on TikTok we're all like, we write at dawn. And throw the tea in the harbor.
He grew up in America in Seattle, Washington, where he showed interest in hip-hop and b-boying at a very early age. He won a breakdancing competition according to the internet, and that won him an audition for JYP. In 2008, he went through the trials and tribulations and debuted in 2PM as their leader. That is hilarious to me because Captain Korea is in 2PM and he is one of my favorite people to look at. 2PM is one of those groups that just is just like, this is a collection of actors who can sing and dance and be shirtless. And then in 2009, literally a year later, he left. He was called out for, this is the most 2009 thing, comments on his MySpace that he had made about Korea while he was a trainee in Korea, and it was in English and it was translated and Koreans saw it and they were pissed. You know, Koreans love, the one thing that Koreans love more than, you know, BTS is just nationalism.
Koreans have a lot of pride in our country, in our companies.
And that's, BTS falls under nationalism. Like, Koreans love Korea. So like, you as someone who is not technically like Korean, because you're born in America, saying stuff, they're not gonna like that. So eventually, like, JYP was like, no, we're standing by our man. And the next day he was like, no, I'm out. And he went back to Seattle, back to his dance crew that he like grew up and was around. They said that the comments were unfavorable. I don't know what that means. I could not find the comments. It was proven to be a misunderstanding and a mistranslation. And kind of like, if you were to see the comments, the way I've not seen the comments myself, but the way it was described to me through articles on the internet is that if you were to see these comments now, you'd be like, oh yes, he's talking about like the way that trainee life is and how like toxic it was. And in 2009 it was pretty garbage. Like, BTS was still living in one room. Like, it was pretty wild. I mean, I think it's still pretty bad sometimes, but I can't, I'm not a trainee, I don't know. So you know, after that, the fans begged for him to come back, but then it was said due to a separate issue, his contract was terminated. He started his solo career, which blew up thanks to YouTube, because everybody was on YouTube in 2009 and 2010, of course. That's when everything started popping around. That was when Chocolate Rain was popping and Jenna Marble ruled the internet. And he did a cover of a B.O.B. track. And again, this is very dating, like MySpace, B.O.B. Are we going to talk about airplanes with B.O.B. and Hayley Williams next? Like, very dated. And because of that featured track, he got a chance to do a collaboration with B.O.B. himself. And that song blew up. And then he started collaborating with a lot of Korean American artists. One of the ones that I know mostly is Dumbfound Dead. So he did a lot of collaborations, and that really kind of kept his train rolling. In 2010, he put out the racist atrocity that is Hype Nation, which is one of the main reasons why I dislike him now that I'm thinking about it, and that after I did the research, that is one of the main reasons. We will get back to Hype Nation. That will have its whole own section, because that was an atrocity.
야, 정신 차려. 다시 만나지 마, 알았어? 얘네는 한 번만 더 때문에 죽여버릴 거야, 어?
All I know is when I get up in that pussy, 3 to the left and 2 to the right. You feel me?
It wasn't even like they even tried to not do that. Like, he like literally did not try. He was like, I'm gonna ruin some lives today.
Then he continued successful in movies and music, including being one of the first Asian American artists to be signed to Jay-Z's label, Roc Nation, and creating his own labels, multiple labels. And in 2022, he was even named one of GQ's Men of the Year. So obviously he's had a very big career. He has collaborated and made moves and mountains for K-hiphop. Why do we hate him? This all sounds like normal stuff. Why is there a dislike of him as an artist? There are people who are famous and we love who have done way worse. So I broke down his controversies in sections. So one of the main controversies that people are confused about, and this is where I will say, I will defend Jay Park, okay?
Sure, he's kind of an asshole, but my toxic trait is telling me you can fix him.
It has been proven that what he said was a mistranslation or misread. Like, obviously he was a young kid saying dumb stuff, but he was in a hard situation, alone, whatever. So a lot of people are like, oh, he was he was disrespecting Korea. So that's one of the reasons why everyone is mad at him. Okay, well, like, then let's talk about it. The fans of Korea have forgiven him for it, even begged for him to come back to 2 p.m. So I think that's something that should be, put to rest a little bit, but I'm not going to be upset with you for being upset with it. Like, that's not my job.
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
However, if that was just the case, I think that we would all still be fine with him. But that, however, is not. Cultural appropriation is one of the main reasons I think that people have an issue with him. he has a tendency to allow and you know, even platform people who culture appropriate, even he himself wearing braids and grills as if that was the culture that he was like, you know, the culture of black people that he's emulating.
As a solo artist, resident blackaboo.
And this comes down to the whole issue in K-hip-hop specifically, even in BTS's earlier days. Like, there are some, I cannot watch that one performance where they had cornrows in Suga's hair. I cannot watch it for the life of me. It makes my heart hurt. Obviously, there's space to grow and space to learn, but I think that the difference between what other artists that have gotten in trouble for the culture appropriation and Jay Park is that he doubles down on it. He knows what he did was wrong. But instead of even, you know, just apologizing for his actions, he goes as far as to platform people who are doing the actions that he himself has never apologized for. Culture appropriation is so hard to go through in K-pop, especially as a black fan in K-pop. It is one of the trickier navigating things because your faves at some point most likely have appropriated my culture. Sorry, not sorry. Like, it just, there was a phase in which it was just okay.
Girl group that just debuted, and their freaking group name is Cocoa and Butter. Let's be fucking for real. But it's not even that. It's not even that. Their title song is called Mi De Ya. But that's not even the beginning of the song. I think Miss Girl said Wagwan. But then again, it's not even that. The person that's featured in the song, the person's name is Kunta. Bitch, this is like quadruple homicide.
So this is the motherfucker's name was Kunta. That nigga name is Kunta? Oh God, it is him. Oh shit. This is a mess. This is a mess. Oh God. This shit is by design, my nigga. I feel as though all we can do is laugh because they're gonna keep doing this shit.
So many YouTubers making videos about black women and they're not showing the truth. They're saying, we love black people, but that's not true. I mean, some people do, but most of the people in South Korea are racist. And I just wanted to show that there's a racist in South Korea.
Also, no. I'm a child of immigrants.
Well, also,
Nigerian. No.
But there was a time where it's like the Bill Cosby, where Catherine Ryan makes that joke. She was like, oh, my friends were doing it. It's the same thing. It's everyone thought it was okay. Like, JYP literally painted the faces of his black background dancers and put them in afros. Like, culture appropriation has always been a problem in K-pop. And K-hip-hop only made it worse, I want to say, because what hip-hop was representing and what hip-hop gives is a lot of a specific lifestyle, especially in the time of the 90s that they were emulating, the early 2000s and 90s that they were emulating. That is a lot of what the issue was around and what they were emulating. So they felt like they had to take from that, especially when you're specifically taking from hip-hop. It makes it harder to differentiate between the person in the genre, and a lot of the times in K-hip-hop they got it very, very wrong. And I feel like where other people have apologized and have, you know, since made peace with that part of their past, Jay Park just doubled down on it and just kept championing people who offended lots of people. Like, and instead of like being like, I understand you're offended, but this don't need me, he was like, I understand you're offended, but if you're gonna be offended about this, you shouldn't listen to K-pop because you like all these idols. You like Asians, so you're culture appropriating Asian culture. And I'm already here, like sitting here scared to death that someone's gonna think I'm a weeboo or whatever they're called because I like K-pop, and you're just telling me,
oh yeah, you're appropriating my culture because I can't wear dreads.
I'm like, huh? And then he never addresses it again. I've never seen him address it again. he just doubles down on everyone around him. In his DNA remix, the people around him having dreads and stuff, some other white rapper having dreads, he inserted himself into that situation that he didn't need to insert himself into. So a lot of it comes from not understanding how cultural appropriation is wrong and how the things that he does makes it feel like more people can culture appropriate, and not holding himself accountable, because he is, so he says, an icon and a legend, and people obviously want to emulate him and the things that he champions.
늦기 전에 빨리 정신 차리라고 내게 말은 하지마. Just keep on 가는 대로 왜 너 넌 아니 믿어야. Young motherfuckers. Young motherfuckers. Yeah. 없으면 우리가 찾아. 가짜의 포도도 가라. 너무 다이어트야. 도대체 어떻게 참아? 누가 좀 만져도 봐. 손가락만 돌리기. 비주 손들을 바꿔. 현실의 팬티 속 꼼수들은 손가락이나
I could be a very, very bad man if I wanted to.
Don't condone violence, but I am a proponent of talk shit, get hit. Like, it is
fuck around and find out,
fuck around
girl.
and find out. If you say something completely out of line, that deserves, and that's the thing, that's the craziest part. Like what he said here, I literally, there's no other option. Unfortunately.
No, because he's not going to learn anything from you yelling at him.
No. Because you guys fight all the time.
Break his nose.
More going on to it is the desperate need to distance himself from K-pop. Like now, it's very apparent that he is trying to reintegrate himself into K-pop, and it is insane because if you see all the stuff that he did to try and distance himself from K-pop, and now because it is the cool thing, he's like, no, I am K-pop too. Like, I'm K-pop too. K-hip-hop is K-pop too. Like, duh. Like, what do you mean? So, no, you didn't want to be a part of this. Like, when we were all getting made fun of for liking K-pop, you were like, no, we're not K-pop. We are hip-hop. We are hardcore. It's giving.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in, and I don't want to fit in.
Listen, I completely understand that Jay Park is what I deem a necessary evil. His music is not bad. His actions are weird to me, and they don't kind of emulate the understanding of Black culture and of hip-hop that he claims to have. While he did give us some grotesque turds, as played it before, and his actions, I feel like, do in fact embolden people to disrespect Black people on another level and the hip-hop culture in general, he did give us beautiful gems. Youngji is still one of my favorite rappers, and she is undeniably inspired by him.
Girls going to get dead all bands. I want to get one more. We need to be your one more. 후두두 떨어져 동감하게 don't even follow. They are my kids. While all these 눈만자들의 jealousy 난 다순이 가로막아내 business 가당시 또
Most of our favorite K-pop artists, Mingi from ATEEZ, Suga from BTS, J-Hope collaborating and doing the Blue Check dance with him. Most of our favorites have come out of him and come from him and are in relation to him.
For me to say that I'm worried about the next Korean hip-hop generation is kind of weird to me, like because that means that I claim it or that I'm like owning it right now.
Yeah.
But I don't own this genre. I don't own this culture. Hip hop isn't even Korean. It's a Black culture.
Yeah.
And we're just in love with it, and we're like interpreting in our own ways. And
whether it be BI or BB.
난 신경 안 써. 치마 퍼 위에 시조나 한 수 드시고 가셔. 쓰기만 하면 장문급제 나기만 하면 대울세. 이럴 어째 난 안녕인데 어기여 차에.
or again Youngji or any of these people. So it's hard to separate the art from the artist when the artist did give us beautiful gems of K-hip-hop, but also terrible hall passes that are just cosplaying black people. In the words of Kenny JD.
흑인 문화를 좋아한다. 그리고 흑인 사람을 싫어하지 않는다. 둘 다 똑같지 않더라고요. People really do be around the world 옷처럼 흑인 문화를 입고 벗고 and then go be racist. People all over the world know how to disrespect black people. I don't know how, as a collective, the narrative of people not knowing any better got around in relation to anti-blackness when traveling abroad. They know better. Some people just do be racist.
My main reason, this is the third one, the controversy that I have for not liking him, is the movie Hype Nation.
이제 그 명화 그 하이프 네이션 명화 하이프 네이션을 같이 찍었는데 절대 보지 마세요.
And this comes back to the point of him having a ding against him for being American. The movie Hype Nation, I already didn't like it. I watched it because B2K was in it. And it is a very dumb and convoluted movie based in the racism of Jay Park not wanting his Asian sister to date a black man. Weird. I already didn't like the movie because it was bad. It seemed a little racist. It seemed a little like in poor taste. I saw Kenny JD's review of the movie and realized that when you don't speak Korean, they get away with a lot of things because the movie is way worse than I thought.
The literal first words out of anyone's mouth is a slur.
깜둥이.
Which, oh so conveniently, whoever translated the subtitles just simply translated it into something much more neutral and benign as the term African American, which it is not. But yes, it means exactly what you suspect that it means. We played in Korea, the niggers will be none the wiser. 저 궁금한 게 있는데요. 태번을 쓰기를 시작했을 때는 깜둥이 nigga. He says nigga too, by the way, several times, often, like 3 or 4 times, just blatantly. 그런 말을 당당하게 적었을 때는 어떤 기분이었을까요? 나 완전 badass, real ass nigga. 있잖아요, 여러분. 흑인 문화에 대한 영화를 찍으면서 인천 자부를 뻔뻔하게 쓰는 건 저를 전혀 놀라게 하지 않아요. Not a nigga in sight. Actually, no nigga actually says nigga in this movie, which is hilarious, considering, again, the niggas were there largely to legitimize the niggatry. But anywho, it's not even about roasting. It's truly and utterly disgusting and offensive.
And the issue I have, and the reason why I'm not mad at B2K, but I'm mad at Jay Park, is because B2K doesn't know what that means. I'm sure they did not know what it meant when they signed up to do the movie. Jay Park is both Korean and American, and that's where the ding of him being American plays against him. You understand what racism is. Like, the big argument for cultural appropriation and all of these things in K-pop that they always have to go back to is that
we didn't know. We don't have black people over here. We didn't know. That doesn't matter to us. We're a homogenous society. We didn't know.
Doing it to hurt my feelings. You can't let people get away with being mean. And if that means you have to destroy their bodies until they're dead, then so be it.
Jay Park, you're from Seattle, Washington. I'm sure you had black friends there, and I'm sure you knew about racism. So everything you're doing, the cultural appropriation, the terrible movie, the doubling down on all of it, is even made worse because you know better. You can't even use the excuse you didn't know. You knew better. You know better, and you knew better. Like, period.
Grew up listening to a lot of slow jams, R&B, Brian McKnight, Boyz II Men, Drew Hill. It just comes very natural to me.
And that's what makes me so frustrated with Jay Park. I try and like Jay Park as much as possible. He just did an interview with Faux Squad. That's kind of what kind of triggered me to make this video, because if you literally look at the comment section when they posted it, they were like, everyone was like, no, not Jay Park. Why Jay Park? Why this? Why that? No. No. Then the same week, he did an interview with Youngji on No Prepared, and I love that show. So my mind is like, all these people that I love are championing Jay Park and giving him a platform to speak. Am I wrong? Am I the bad guy? It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. Is it really me? And I had to really double down and think, and that's why I tried to do this video where I researched what the issues were with Jay Park and how that makes me feel, and if my feelings are valid or if I was just going along with the cause. And I still feel like my feelings are valid. I watched his interview with Faux Squad. I did not watch the No Prepared because I knew that one was going to be like A, heavily biased, and B, like, you know, that's her like brother. That's like her best friend brother, Jay Park. You know, a lot of the people that I love Jay Park. You know, Mingy from Mingy loves Jay Park. Sugar, Jessie does like literally all the songs with Jay Park. Literally. So I wanted to figure out why all these people, was I the problem the entire time? In watching the Faux Squad interview, I did get to see a, you know, kind of a more humble and, you know, with age comes wisdom. You know, 16 years in the industry, I saw a different side to Jay Park than I had seen in the past.
But I never want to lose, like, who I am and the root of my values and who I am and where I came from, and forget about my family, my friends, just to attain more. I'm just all about my friends and my family, and then who they know me as, like just me being a solid human being, me doing things out of the goodness of my heart.
But it still frustrated me because it's like, I want to like you. Everything you're saying in this interview seems very sweet and very genuine. You have good lyrics sometimes. Not to say not always. Like, Blue Check was fine. Blue Check, you know, Blue Check. But I can't enjoy it because I have such a disdain for you. And the disdain I have comes from you simply not owning up to your mistakes, not putting on a public platform being like, hey, I know I spoke about cultural appropriation. I know I should have known better as both a Korean artist who is championing other artists in the K-hiphop movement, as well as a person who has lived in America where Black people are attacked every day unprovoked. So I know that cultural appropriation is wrong. I should not have shamed a bunch of, you know, people who are Black and like K-pop for liking K-pop and also telling them that they are culture appropriating. I shouldn't have done that. My bad. Peace.
That just comes from like me being able to read people and read the room. I'll just leave it at that.
Literally as simple as that. Hey, Hype Nation 3D, that, you know, kind of perpetuated a narrative of Black people being the villain or less than, and even, you know, using slurs against them. My bad. Needed the check.
He had quite a successful career as a solo artist, a solo rapper, and incidentally, b-boy dancer. So I say all this to say, did Jay Park need this check?
Simple actions as that has been proven to make people like you more. BTS put out War of Hormones and women were offended everywhere. I don't know why, because I love that song. Women were offended. You know what they did? They took a women's studies class and literally was like, sorry, which is like, not to demean what they did. It just took them taking a women's studies class. That's literally it. Not even all of them, just RM. Are you kidding me? BTS. Not to compare them to BTS, although I know he likes to compare himself to BTS. Literally, we're just like, oh my gosh, I feel terrible for, you know, appropriating your culture. sugar in his cornrows, and everything they wore literally up until their spring day era was like bad. And they were just like, oh my god, my B. Sorry. And you know what? They're the most famous people in the world. Congratulations. Do you see where humbleness gets you? Do you see where being apologetic gets you? It's just like, yes, you are an icon and a legend. You make great music. I would love to listen to the music, but I can't feel comfortable doing it because I feel like you haven't acknowledged your mistakes.
Yeah, watch, bitch. Watch. You ain't shit. Watch.
So, with that being said, this is a fact or fiction. Black people dislike Jay Park. On average, a lot of the black people I talk to who are in K-pop don't bang with him. Like, a lot of international fans don't like him. A lot of black people who don't even know K-pop don't like him. And it's to the point where people don't even know why they don't like him. And I was one of those people who didn't know why they didn't like him. Well, Hype Nation mostly. But, like, didn't know why they didn't like him. And now I know. Thank you for keeping me informed. And he just rubs me the wrong way in that regard. I really wish I could like him. I think that the Faux Squad interview did help me to understand his character a little bit more, and I did appreciate that. But still, something in my gut is like, I'm not banging with you until I get an apology, bro. Like, that's just it for me.
That she watches them, the more she's annoyed and upset. I think it's just disrespectful. My mom says, if you want to be Korean, like, let's say, right, that's how you feel Korean, you want to be Korean, then there's got to be a level of sincerity that Koreans can feel, so that it shows off, like, it's like a respectful, genuine interest, and not a troll, not exploiting, and not just being kind of a dick.
I think that's the dead drop line. If you have seen an apology for all of these things that have happened, you know, the cultural appropriation, the platforming Tekashi X9 and his rape charges, whatever, like platforming all these things, that, you know, that was another thing that I just decided to leave out. But if you've seen an apology from Jay Park, humbling himself enough to apologize, I will say that I am more inclined to listen to him after the Faux Squad interview, but I will never go out of my way to listen to him. And I will never purchase anything that he is a part of. I will never spend my money actively supporting him. But if Mingy does a blue check TikTok dance, I will be checking it out, as long as it's on the AT's page. And with that being said, I'm Yummy.com. Don't worry, I'll be back, so stay tuned, my internet friends.